Wah! What's happening, folks? It is more official than a radio. Than a ref with a whistle. You're posted with me, the G, on Rated PG. Unfortunately, we are missing my broski, Capdroski. However, comma pause for effect. We got the Ace Boom Coon, the homie that's coming to steal your mommy. Make some noise for Asif Lakhani. Appreciate you. Bars. I'm out here.
Oh, yeah.
And shows coming up for this month, folks. Well, before that, my Instagram actually is. You can follow me at P Diddy Boppa, PDIDDY. Then a B. You'll see a skinny dude that looked like me. And then your Instagram, sir?
My Instagram is Lakhani29, so that's LAKHANI _29. That's me on Twitter and Instagram. That's Lakhani29. And then follow my podcast too, at Bears, Birds, and Brews on Instagram, and then at Bears, Birds, Brews on Twitter. And the name of the podcast is it's Bears, Birds, and Brews. And we talk about sports and beer. So Piere, if you ever want to talk about beer or sports or both, just let me know, man.
He said, I love all these things. Do you love birds more than beers?
I mean, the birds on the show is Falcons.
Okay.
So Chicago Bears and then Falcons and beer. So I love the Falcons. I mean, I grew up in Atlanta, so I'm diehard.
That must be hurtful.
Oh man,
nowadays.
It is, but there's right now there's a bunch of optimism. Season's about to start.
Right.
Nothing's going wrong.
Falcon prize up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What the fuck they do?
Right.
For shows coming up this month, I have August 3rd. I'm all fucked up. August 3rd, that would be the Pullout Game Show.
Nice.
That would be at the Relapse Theater at 7 p.m. Then I have another show August 24th. That is the Best of Life and Skull Lounge at 8 and 10:30 p.m. Then August 25th, this is another Best of Atlanta show. That's a Sunday at 2 p.m. August 30th, I am at Connect Live. That will be in Ackworth, Georgia.
Nice.
Never been there, but
Is that Billy's new thing?
It is.
Okay.
Billy Willie. Billy!
Oh, what up, Billy?
And you have any shows coming up for this month, sir?
Yeah, so actually I'll be at the Skull Mic on Monday, August 5th.
Gang.
So that's like next week pretty much. And then I talked to Joseph, so I'll be at Milltown Arms Tavern, Cabbage Patch Comedy.
Cabbage Patch, that's a Friday, ain't it?
That's on Friday, August 30th. That's the day after my birthday. So hence the 29.
Are you going to make it in?
Lakhani 29? What do you mean?
The day after your birthday.
Oh, it's at night, you know.
He's like, I got the day to rest.
I got time. And actually, I just got before I was here, I was at a meeting for this thing called Summer in the South, and it's a film festival for a nonprofit that's starting up and we're going to do a little comedy showcase for that on Friday, August 30th, and I'm going to be hosting that. So we'll have to figure out some schedules. Maybe we can have you on. We're going to do like a comedy happy hour type of deal. So that I'm hosting that show, hosting and booking. That
you said August 30th?
Yeah, that's a Friday. So I'll be going from hosting one show to being that Cabbage Patch Comedy, and then August 5th I got this thing, and I'm talking to Punchline about doing something, one of their upcoming Sunday shows as well. So I'm trying to figure out the details for that. And that's the only thing that comes to mind right now. But usually you can find me at open mics. Doing a lot of open mics right now.
Where do you usually go to?
So after this, because it's a Tuesday, so after this I think I'm going to try to hit up Urban Grind, not too far from here, but also just a good, I like to be like low-key, so like I like to be like, it's one of those where, yo, did you see him? Like that shit was killer, but like, you know, like you got to hear about it,
right?
You know? So there, I've been at Da Vinci's a couple times. I like Noni's a lot.
Sam Gordon's good room. Noni's is Katie Brews.
Yeah.
Katie Hughes.
Yeah, Katie Brews, Katie Hughes. And then, so you can find me at both of their rooms. I like Limerick, the late night at Limerick. I haven't been to Smith's late night in a minute on Wednesdays, but I like that.
Does Zach do their room?
Yeah, Zach does that. And then, so yeah, Urban Grind, Noni's, Limerick, Da Vinci's.
All the spots.
And I also like to do, there's the one on Chambly Tucker in Paco.
I've not heard of that.
Brandon DiBiase does that, and that was a cool show. I work not too far from there, so that's great for me on a Wednesday to get off work, go there, get a quick bite to eat of something good, and then just hit the rest of the circuit for the night if that's what I'm out to do.
Gang.
So yeah.
What got you started in entertainment?
Man.
When did you start off doing comedy?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, so originally, I think we talked about this a little bit off here. I have a journalism degree, and so when I started working at AJC and Cox Media Group, and I've always had the personality. I think in my head, I've always thought, like,
I'm always that motherfucking guy.
Right? Hell yeah! You know, like there's a camera watching us right now. I guess in my head, I've always felt like there's a camera on me. Just even when I was younger, man, it just seems like something not that I was born to do, but just feel like it felt natural to me. And I think if you ask a lot of people who know me well, they probably, I've had my friends tell me before, like, oh, you need to have a TV show and stuff like that. Like my dream job would be a late night talk show host. So I've kind of always just approached things from like
that perspective
of just being like the person who kind of knows stuff, what's going on. And then so I had the journalism degree, and then I covered some entertainment doing that. So like music, movies, food.
So you just meet a bunch of creative people.
So I've been around a bunch of creative people and then as a writer myself, like as an actual freelance writer, write like newspaper, magazine articles, whatever. I have that creative bit in me, and then just like networking. Like I've interviewed Andre 3000. Actually, that was a phone interview. It was crazy. So I interviewed him. I interviewed Black Dot of the Roots in person. There's like, you know, a couple other chefs like I've seen out when I've been going to eat, and it's like, oh, you're the chef from that restaurant. And they're like, yeah, how you know? And I'm like, just happen to be plugged into these things. So that's how I got started, was just like having the writing creative gene, having the curiosity of a journalist, and then just, you know, get fortune just put me in front of a lot of people. And then as far as stand-up goes, I think I started probably how a lot of people start, which is, you know, I got laid off from a job. Yeah, man. So like,
I hate everything. Let me go on stage.
Right. So this is 2017. I got laid off from a job, and it was a nonprofit. And it's not the first job. I mean, it's like the first job I've been laid off at.
So you got fired from a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Does that mean they don't pay you for your work?
Well, they said it that like they don't have the budget to pay me anymore. They let me down easy, whatever. But getting fired, getting laid off. In my particular case, I mean, they're just being nice about it, being cordial.
Right, it's like, we're breaking up, so you're dumping me. We're just we're going our separate ways.
Right, and we're gonna tell everybody it's like
it was amicable. We both agreed.
Right, and so that happened. I got laid off in like 2017, and I mean, I've heard Steve Harvey talk about one time. They were like, "What got you into comedy?" And he said, "I just couldn't maintain the job. I couldn't maintain the full-time job." And like, I hate to say it, sorry mom, because she knows, she goes crazy over this shit. Like, it's been hard for me to maintain stable-ish employment. So that's what got me started in stand-up, because I'm just like, I have this view on the world, I have this personality, I have a quick wit. I've always been naturally funny, and like, once I realized I could be naturally funny, then I found affinity in making people laugh. It's like one of the greatest joys, man. You know it.
I tell people this too. Like, people at work, I tell them I literally have a whole different mentality about things. Like, what do you mean? They're like, you're always in a bad mood when you're at work.
Right.
And I was like, dude, was this the dream for you?
Right. Yeah.
Like, when you were 8 years old, you were like, I want to come to this restaurant and serve people food.
Right. No.
They're like, no. I said, right. I'm not doing the dream, so I'm not going to act like it was.
Right.
I was like, I literally, once you find out what you want to do with your life, I said, if you want to bake cakes for the rest of your life, and cake is your passion, if someone was like, hey, you want to cut my grass? Eat a fucking dick. I want to make cake.
I'll do it if I have to, but not because I want to.
Right. And I was like, that's how I feel. I would much rather be doing comedy right now. I say either if it's writing jokes, performing, or getting ready to go to a show, I would rather do that than serve plates.
Yeah, and I think like, I mean, so just going through that being laid off experience of like having jobs that I didn't necessarily care for, but still had to do. I mean, it just kind of like...
It eats at you.
Yeah, and comedy was definitely a way of like, I kind of have like free range here to do whatever I want, and it suits me, and I like making people laugh, and I always just have this view on the world. So like, let's actually harness it, and put. So getting laid off is what got me started into comedy, and then just entertainment is just something I've always gravitated to.
This is something that just kind of leaned in that way. Yeah,
and even nowadays, man, like, it's crazy because the older you get, the more it's like, okay, well, you need to have a job, you need to have money, you need to have this and that. And the more I do, the older I get, man, it's still like, every day that goes by now, I have more opportunities in the entertainment world than I do in like the professional corporate world. For me personally, so I'm like at this point, I'm not fighting it anymore.
Right.
I'm just gonna go with it, you know, and I'm okay with it. So far, so good, man. I mean, I got laid off from the one job, and I got laid off from another job last May. So it just reinforces.
You're like, maybe this isn't working out.
You know, I'm trying not to get laid off from this job I have now, but
it's not looking too great. Woo, trying real hard here.
Shout out my boss and them. They let me record the podcast at my work, so like that's really.
They're a bit understanding.
Yeah, but then that also gives me the idea of like, okay, well I can't fuck this up,
right?
Because now I got two things riding on this one job, not just my income, but also another side hustle and business and passion project that I do with somebody else. So like I can't fuck it up not only for me but also for
invested in this.
Right, exactly.
But I'm gonna ask you this. This isn't even one of the questions I usually ask because a lot of people answer it differently. But I feel like I asked Tyler Chronicles when I had the interview with him if I told him I want to get paid for my comedy enough money to where I don't have to work.
Yeah.
Like that was one of my short-term goals because I couldn't even see, that far in front of me.
Right.
And I asked him, would you if you got paid $2 million a year to either write or to perform, you're still free to do whichever, but one is going to pay you $2 million a year, which would you do? I said right.
Okay, well...
I would still perform,
but
I would want to get paid for writing. As opposed to, like, if I was a performer that got paid $2 million a year to perform, I probably wouldn't write that much. If you just had shows like that, you know, I'd probably just be going out performing.
Interesting. No, that's an interesting take. So, and then to get this clear, because for me, like, so when you say writing, you're talking about comedy writing specifically.
For like a TV show, for comedians, for whatever. I am a writer that I get $2 million a year for my writing.
Well, because so like initially I started writing, right? Like my when I was a kid. I said being a late night talk show was my dream job. It was probably my dream job now. When I was a kid, I probably just wanted to write a book. I think that's really what it was. Like I've always loved to write, and I take a lot of pride in my writing ability. So like I write freelance columns, this and that. But like writing like that, and then writing as a performer. I mean, I love to write so much that if I got paid $2 million for my published work, whether it's like writing jokes or writing for TV or whatever. I mean. And, again, writing a book, so, like, not just comedy writing. I mean, that...
It could be a book, too. You could write, like, a book on comedy, like, or performing.
Or just anything, And, I mean, I think, like, 6-year-old me, 8-year-old me probably would have been like, yes. Like, that would be the thing. But, like, honestly, the older I get, the more you talk about, like, what got you started in entertainment. And, like, I think being in front of the camera and being the one that people associate with, like, this moment in their life or this joke or that particular... thing, I almost think I'd rather have that, but partially because like I think my writing style is not different from maybe whoever else, but for me it's like I feel like I come up with new jokes almost every day, right? Because for me, I heard Ron Funches say this on a podcast that he did one time. It's like some people hunt for jokes in their joke book and they just go through and figure out, okay, this will work, and some people fish. And for the longest time, I had a hard time believing that like I could fish my way to just a good set after a good set after a good set. And once I heard that, I was like, yo man, he's a successful guy. He's obviously killing it. And if that works for him, why can't it work for me?
Right.
So I've become a lot more comfortable with being like, okay, I'll perform because the new jokes will come. But I think to some degree, I don't think you could do one or the other.
Right.
Because if you look at like a lot of like late night hosts now, they started as writers for TV. So I think you have to be able to do both, and collectively, hopefully make $2 million.
One's gonna, be more profitable for you.
Yeah.
And it depends on what you define as your profits, I suppose.
Right, and I think I can understand why. If you look at somebody who says I want to get paid for performing, a lot of performers necessarily aren't the greatest comedians. They just get paid
They're very
because
entertaining.
Right, and they get paid because, you were in a movie and you were in a TV show, and so now we're just going to put you here because we know the crowd is going to eat it up no matter what. So, I mean, I could definitely I could see, like, you want to get paid for performing is, like, throwing shade that way. But I think, or if you're really about that life, you got to do both. You got to be able to do both.
But which would you rather do, though?
Man.
Write or perform? Like, as you said, you got to be able to do both because they kind of go hand in hand. But which of the two would make you happier to do?
I think performing would make me happier, honestly. Because if I think about being like a late night talk show host, is like Late Night with Asif Lakhani, right? Like I'm front and center.
That actually sounds so fucking catchy.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You know, and so like manifesting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm of course, if I had my own late night show, I'm gonna have a team of writers. I'm gonna have my input heard in the room, but I'm the one that has to go out there and get paid for being okay, Late Night with me, and then New Year's Eve special and Super Bowl special and whatever else. Like I have to be the one that has to
go out there.
Not
and do
my
that.
boss is going and representing us proudly. It's me. So I would say performing, but again, that goes with the ability to dabble in a little bit of both worlds.
Okay. What was one of your most memorable? No, before that, I asked you, but what is your definition of a bomb?
Oh man.
First, and then what was one of your most memorable bombs?
Man, that's a great question. It's hard to think about because you always try to block that stuff out. You know, so I gotta take a minute. But no, man, I think so. The definition of bombing, I think, is obviously when the crowd doesn't react to what you say. You know, I think it's and like just because you get heckled doesn't necessarily mean that you bomb.
Right.
Because heckling, you're getting the reaction out of the audience, and I think as an entertainer, as a performer, you want people to react a certain way, whether it's laughter or tears or whatever. You don't want them to just be like.
And that's the same thing the last person just said. They said when you bomb, it's when you tell a joke and then they stare at you.
Right. And they don't understand the punchline, and they're just like. And I think too, part of you can allow yourself to bomb when you're not bombing, which I know you talked about on your Instagram this morning, stepping on your laughs. Excuse me. So, I think bombing happens in different ways, but I would say when there's no reaction from the audience and nothing lands like it's supposed to in your mind.
Right.
And then third, it's a matter of like when you don't get to have the set that you wanted. When you say, man, I forgot this joke and this would have been a perfect, like I had them here, but I really could have had them here if I just remembered my line or two. But I think that's part of like why you do it, because it's like.
And I tell people, even if you get booed, that's not a bomb either.
Yeah.
Because I've been booed before I even said anything once. I was walking on stage.
Damn.
They called my name. They're like, "So what's the Piere cargo?" I started walking out, and I had on some skinny jeans. And this guy was like, "Look at that nigga skinny ass jeans." And then everybody just started laughing.
Oh, man.
And I grabbed the mic, and I was like, "Hello," and they were still laughing at my skinny jeans.
Yeah, and I was too. Yeah, when somebody in the audience makes a comment that's funnier than what you sit on stage, you probably definitely
You've lost at that point. Yeah, somebody else said that. They said when you have lost the crowd, like lost control of the room, you have bombed.
Yeah. So, but some rooms are set up to the point where people are going to talk over you, and it's once they hear in the back of their mind what's going on, they're like, oh, okay, maybe this is actually. But yeah, if it goes the other way where you have them and you lose them,
that's when you have them and then you don't, you have bombed.
Right.
What was one of your most memorable bombs?
Man, one of my most memorable bombs. God, I'm trying to think like.
He was like, let me dig in here. Hold
I
on.
know, man. It's,
let me find one.
And like, and you know, I'll say like a lot of people in the Atlanta comedy scene probably haven't seen me perform just because I haven't been up as much and I haven't had my timing as much. Where like, I'll still be on the bottom of like a 20-person list at an open mic, and you know, after like the first like 11 or 12 people are like, okay, I got to go to another show. That. So a lot of people haven't seen me perform, and so for that reason, I haven't had a ton of shows. But I would think. One of my most memorable bombs was probably there's this place called Fire and Brimstone in Alpharetta.
I've heard of it.
And it was an E. Craig room. Right, but like I mean, E. Craig is nice to me. He's always thought I was good and stuff. But essentially, the whole thing with that was a matter of like, it's in Alpharetta. I live in Roswell, so for me to get there conveniently, it was there, and so I did it. And then. Every now and then you might have a good turnout of like people who are in town for business, so they're just like out having a drink at the bar. So one night I went there, I did really well, man. I had somebody tell me like, yo, dude, you were like one of the best ones, like keep it going, that was really good. And I go, and like my confidence is like sky high, you know? I go back a week later to the same room and like tried, and I had to go into like my greatest hits bag just to rescue myself from the crowd.
Around.
And at that point I'd already lost him so much that it was like, they're like, yo, that's a good joke, but you already fucked this up. Like, I can't.
And what, like, why did you bomb, though? Is it what you said?
I think it was just a matter of, like, probably, yeah, I mean, I was trying new material at the time, right? So, it, like, obviously, it's still a work in progress. And then, I think I just went in there with so much confidence that, like, they could probably
They could
sense
tell.
it. I thought I was like the best one in the room, and I got up there and I was confident, and I was like, and I think they just turned them off because you have to be likable.
Right.
Right? When people see you get on stage and you're going to entertain me for 5 minutes or for 15, 20, 30 minutes, I have to like you.
Right. Otherwise, this is going to be very awkward.
And I think the persona that I portrayed that night was a matter of like, I don't need y'all to like me because I'm the fucking shit. And I found out very quickly that wasn't the case. So it's good to be humiliated in that way because it's like, okay, well, I can't do that again. And then I went back to that room, a little bit later and I recovered and it was totally fine. But that was definitely one where my confidence was like here to here in like 5 minutes, I'm
about to say, comedy is extremely humbling because I had a show like that too. I went on, did my A set for a group of like 8 people that weren't together. And it was kind of everywhere in this big ass room. Ate a dick for 8 minutes. And I was like, awesome. Went to Star Bar, fucking murdered with the exact same set. And I get off stage, everyone's like, that was hilarious. I said, I am garbage 50% of the time.
Right.
That's what these numbers are telling me.
Yeah, and part of it too, I think as a comedian though, like, Jamie Foxx, I heard him say in the documentary one time, he's like, when I got good and when I really became like notable, he's like, and they'd ask me to do like hours at bar, like an hour set here and there. He's like, I would take 20 minutes to get ready for it. I would go to like the blackest club in town and I'd do 40 minutes of my whitest material. And I would take the 20 best minutes from that and then I'd go to the whitest club in town and I'd take 40 minutes of my blackest material and I'd take my best 20 minutes from that and putting those together I have 40. And then the remaining like 15 to 20 minutes that you get to experiment, you get to have fun because you're trying something new. Mm-hmm. And within the context of what's with the scene, what's going on, current events, and just reading the room and like, oh, are y'all here for a bachelor party? Let's talk about bachelor party, Do
you do improv?
No, man, I
don't either. I should.
Improv scares the shit out of me.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie. And which is crazy because I talk to people who do improv and they're like, I don't know how you do stand up, and I'm like, yo, it's just me. Like, yes, if it goes bad, then it's
bad.
It's bad, but you can own that, and the more you do it, you can find a way out of that situation.
Out of it, right.
But when you do improv, I'm just like, I don't have the energy, man.
Right, and you have, like, I'm pretty sharp up top or what have you, but I've seen some people do improv, and I'm like, how did your brain find that?
Right.
From this? Like, I'm impressed by anybody who can do improv.
Yeah, so the reason I haven't done it is because I'm intimidated by it. It's, like, the main reason.
Mm-hmm. I'm not intimidated, but it's like, I really want to be good at it. And I know I'm going to be garbage for a while. Right. And I'm not ready to be garbage for a while.
And I agree. And part of it, too, is a matter of, like, when you do improv, you're with other people. So if you're bad... It's like,
you're making everyone look bad.
Or it's like, they're like, yo, we got to do a lot of fucking work to pick this guy up because he ain't shit. And then it's like, then you don't even feel like you belong in the group because you're like, and I don't do improv, so I don't know. Obviously, they all support each other.
Right. Maybe they're really nice to the garbage guy.
But, I mean, it's like, that seems like, I'll try it eventually because I think it's important to try it. But I think stand-up is improv too, but obviously improv itself is a completely different ballgame.
Like somebody was telling me if you're like you said, you have your degree in journalism. They like people who do like interviews or like people who work in what's the word? Customer service, I suppose, or talk to a lot of people. They say you guys are already doing improv, and I was like, well, that's to keep my job. But know, as for to make you laugh and be funny, I'm an asshole. Yeah. Like if I'm not trying to water my stuff down and be funny, it comes off as extremely rude, and I'd probably lose a job very quickly.
But there's skills to be learned there. I think with improv and with comedy, and like I'll give it a shot. I just don't want to be like, oh, this guy is a good comedian, and then now all of a sudden you try to do improv and it's like,
this dude's garbage,
and you've never even done it, and it's like you're putting me up in front of like 80 people on my first night.
Right. That's like you're a professional boxer. You have like you got your championship belts and all this shit, and then they put you in UFC and you get knocked out in 2 minutes. Like, this guy's garbage. You can't even fight. Yes, he can. Yeah, and it's just completely different.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great way to look at it.
But what's some advice that you wish somebody would have told you when you started doing stand-up that you learned by yourself?
Oh man, that's a great question too. And I think part of it we talked about a little bit is like when you first start comedy, you think once a week is enough. And then you realize like if you want to get good or you want to be serious about it or you want to get booked and you just want the respect of your peers, once a week is not enough.
Not even close.
And I think you should start slowly, right? Like I think you should try once a week and see, okay, is this something that I'm willing to devote a night to? Is it fun? Is it doable? And then you go from there. But I think something like people told me you have to be out every night. But I didn't really understand it until I had to be out every night.
Until you were out every night.
Exactly.
And then when you're out every night, you see these other people who are out every night. You know, how long you been doing stand-up? They're like 5-6 years.
Right.
And out every single night. Like I tell people, I said, it kind of hurts my spirit when I'm looking there at my calendar and I don't see any shows and I'm booked. I'm like, I have all of this free time to not be on the stage right now.
Right.
And like when I first started, I was probably doing one show every 2 weeks, maybe, type deal, because it's not that I was nervous or anything, but I think if you just start doing stand-up and you're going to like 5 or 6 rooms a week, you're not even sure what you're doing.
Right.
You know, you're probably going to bomb a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I think that might actually hurt your confidence a little bit if you just keep bombing in rapid succession like that.
No, I agree. And I think, too, part of it is like a matter of you just have to understand like what works for you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you can only do 2 nights a week, then pack those 2 nights out and do really well. Try really hard. But if you can afford to do like 3 or 4 nights a week, then just make sure when you do get out, you're really putting forth the effort to do it. So that's a big thing is like that. And then, I mean, my thing right now, like my biggest goal is I want to get booked. I want to get put on shows because I feel like I can do it. You know, 5 minutes here, 8 minutes there. I definitely think I can do it.
I tell everybody, I don't know if you know what's going on with the Laughing Skull, the Best Stuff Festival or whatever right now. You know there's Ian Aber, Katie Hughes, and Mandel. I think Catherine Blanford too.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, always hosting up there at the Laughing Skull Lounge. They're really good about giving people opportunities to get on the best stuff and get a couple of sets for some more time.
Yeah.
But I always recommend people just record a set, give it to one of them, get in, because the Laughing Skull is actually really dope about giving people more time and like different sets and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And if you want to get booked, somebody else told me this, you need to just hang around people who are getting booked.
Yeah. Right.
Go to the shows that these people are going to. Even if you're not on it, just go.
And that's what I've been doing. I think, you know, I had another comic tell me the other day, because he has a room, and, you know, he was telling me, like, I was like, yo, how can I get booked on a show? He's like, I haven't really seen you perform yet. Like, I see you in the audience, you know, and you're seen as an audience member right now versus more so like, you know, somebody who's willing and ready to get on stage, like, you know, and which is, I mean, obviously it hurts to hear that, but it's also, it's a matter of like, I mean, I am out here supporting the grind, and I see people when I'm out there supporting, I'm like, yo, that shit was fucking great. And, you know, and like, yo, this person did a really good job. They tried something new, or like I saw them try that joke a couple weeks ago and they nailed it this time. And
you have to be undeniably funny, and like I've learned that too. You have to be in rooms where you kill, and people have to actually see you kill when their opinions matter.
Right.
So I tell people like always go to rooms like the ones you named, like Noni's or Sam Gordon's room, Da Vinci's. Star Bar is always a good place to go to. Urban Grind, these are places that, you know, a lot of people go out to work out their jokes. When you go there and have a really good set in front of these people, they're going to talk about you. And as corny as that shit is, you want comedians to talk about you.
So like, and that's something I'm learning now that like before I didn't understand how it worked because I didn't understand the like, there's actually showcases and then there's open mics. But now, you know, had I known that when I started, it wouldn't have been much different, but it's just a matter of like
your direction.
Part of the growth process is knowing that and then figuring out, okay, what's my strategy for mics tonight versus this weekend or what have you. Yeah.
But we're down to about the 2-minute marker here, folks. And one of the other questions I always like to ask you is, what is some advice you would give another comedian who was just starting out or somebody who was thinking about starting comedy?
Yeah, I was joking with Haley, I forget, Montgomery at the bar about this the other night because we went to Highland Inn to watch Funny in the Bake Championship, and then we got some drinks after, and we were just talking.
Shout out to Aaron Odom.
Yeah, shout out Aaron Odom, great job, man. We're talking about like, yo, if I met somebody now who's trying to do comedy, just don't do it, man.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it because just don't do it. And but if you've already done it a little bit, it's just a matter of like, just don't let your confidence get shaken. You know, like you're gonna have good nights and you're gonna have bad nights.
You're gonna have some shitty fucking nights from a lot of people.
But you also have nights where you're like, yo, that was fucking awesome, and I'm happy with how that went. That's good. Just know that you're probably only as good as your last time up, right? I mean, I think that's pretty safe.
That's pretty cool to say. I like that.
Yeah, so like that's definitely something that I even have to tell myself, of course, right?
Well, folks, you can follow me on Instagram at PDiddyBopper, PDIDDY, then the B. See a skinny black guy that looks like me. And for you, sir?
Yo, it's LAKHANI_29. That's Lakhani_29 on Twitter and Instagram.
And his birthday is August 29th.
Yeah. So come see me out at these shows and come help me get booked. And follow my podcast too, at Bears, Birds, Brews on Twitter, at Bears, Birds, and Brews on Instagram. We talk about football and beer primarily. And at Lakhani29, LAKHANI_29.
And folks, I'll be black. If that's all white with you. Au revoir, arrivederci, aloha, shalom, salam, auf Wiedersehen, das vidanya, namaste, aloha, sayonara, annyeonghaseyo, shalom,
Adios.
adios.